Welcome to the Metaphysics Hour. I am your host, Rory Colgan. Today, tonight, whenever you're tuning in, I'd like to welcome you to the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. I wanted to do this video, one, because it's good to get out in nature. Two, it's an opportunity for me to share a few thoughts with you, things that perhaps I haven't said to you in a while, or I've never said on camera. So the primary purpose of this video is to give a perspective on reincarnation and why reincarnation is so valuable in my mind. And I think let's just stick to the three basic things that reincarnation gives me as in terms of a dogma. And you know, I know a lot of you would probably have issue using the word dogma. In this particular setting, I don't, because it is a religious belief and it is an experience that I know to be true. But it's not something that scientifically I could prove. There is only a bunch of anecdotal evidence going back to, you know, the first time somebody incarned in the physical. So in that sense, I'd prefer to call it a dogma just because I can't empirically prove it. And a lot of metaphysics can't be empirically proven, or perhaps it can, and I just haven't seen the studies. So if this jives with you, great. If not, that's okay too, because one of the tenets of my religion is to allow people to have their own viewpoint, whatever that viewpoint may be. Doesn't mean I would not judge the viewpoint as being valuable or less valuable. It just means that I allow people, and I attempt to allow people to believe what they believe. So the first reason that reincarnation makes sense to me is that one life would be cruel to have a human experience, because not every person is dealt a pretty hand or a conducive winning hand, if you will. And so it would lead me to believe that if there was a God, God would be cruel, because only some people can become rich and famous. Only some people have loving families. Only some people have loving spouses. And all the things that are important to us as human beings, they're not always within our reach. And a lot of those gifts, or a lot of those things that our society admires, weren't handed to us. And so some people, you know, work for it, and by good graces and good luck and their hard effort, they achieve something that they weren't born into. And that, to me, is a good example of somebody that looks back or looks into the life and says, I want to strive to become successful, but starting from zero. Instead of making it easy on myself, I want to make it more difficult. And so that person would have a drive for that lifetime to become abundant and prosperous financially, mentally, and emotionally. I also look at it as that, and this is, I guess, the second reason. The second reason I appreciate reincarnation is that I look at past injustices as karmically playing out in the future. It gives me great peace knowing that people that are evil or do harmful things to others, whether intentionally or unintentionally, they have to eventually pay the piper. They have to eventually come to the point in which they have whatever was done, well, whatever they did to another, done to them, so that they can truly experience what it's like to be in another's shoes. And that's one of the ways in which we learn. As we become more evolved on the soul level, we've had these experiences, and so then it just requires us to be mindful and to be present in such a way that we can truly understand that, oh, if I do this, this is the karmic repercussions for me, and this is how that person's going to experience it. So what that leads a person to then do is make a choice that's not egocentric, it's not selfish-centric, it's cooperative, it's seeing a bigger picture and playing within that dynamic of treating another person as yourself. So not a purely biological, animalistic movement, but rather a spiritual one. And so that, to me, is another reason why reincarnation is a great way to look at this world. And the third and the last main reason is that, especially in light of certain narratives that are being pushed and certain experiences that people have with race, with nationality, with ethnicity, it gives me a lot of peace and a lot of satisfaction knowing that I've been African, I've been European, I've been Native American, I've been, you know, Chinese, and all of those different nationalities and ethnicities, it's still me. And so to me, racism has no place. It's just certain bodies can be better at certain things. Caracas, I think an island just north of the mainland of South America, has, I think, about 150,000 people. And on that island of 150,000 people, that's smaller than Rhode Island and just like 1% of the size of Texas, has the highest percentage of Major League Baseball players of any country. And it just goes to show you that it's not like there's something in the genetics of that group of bodies, not even talking people, and maybe and people probably as well in terms of culture, but there's something that as a soul, if you wanted to be a successful baseball player, that would be one place that you would look to see if there's an opening to incarn there, because they're probably going to teach you a lot of things about discipline, good work ethic, and the bodies that they're going to be in are going to be naturally athletic. And so every type of body has benefits and detriments. In other words, you have higher rates of cancer in some particular area and lower rates in others. You have higher heights in one area, shorter heights in others. And there's no mentality that I have that one is superior to other. They're just unique and different. And so as a soul, again, in this metaphysical theory, you're examining the learning that you want to have on Earth, and then you're looking at the environments that can be most conducive to that. And so certain bodies, certain cultures are going to give you a better opportunity than other cultures based upon the learning. And so this is not me trying to whitewash racism or trying to ignore it, but rather for me to go to the deeper element and to realize that racism is really just it's a unenlightened view that is preoccupied with the physical. You can appreciate the physical just as I'm appreciating it out here on top of this mountain, but you don't want to put all your eggs into the physical, if that makes sense. That's that one basket. Because if you do so, then you're going to really limit your capability as a divine consciousness. And so reincarnation really helps me not take things so physically and look at a bigger perspective. So those three things are the reasons why I think reincarnation has benefited my life. And as I said, I remember parts of past lives, and I've had it independently verified by psychics or intuitive workers. And it's really hard for me to imagine a life without reincarnation as a fundamental reality. So I hope you got a lot out of it, that reincarnation can help a person let go of the physical egoic attachments to form, which lead to superiority, inferiority complexes. 2, it can give people a sense of peace and justice when justice is not forthcoming in the physical environment. And 3, it just gives me a sense that the divine consciousness, the great light, so to speak, is kind and generous and wants us to have all the experiences we want here in the physical. And when we're ready to graduate, we can become fully enlightened and move on to our new journey, our new learning opportunities. And so for all of those reasons, I hope you consider reincarnation and reach out to me if you'd like to get a report. I have some friends that do past life profiles, past life crossings, all sorts of types of reports that examine you as the soul. And I've been blessed to receive some of those reports, and they really helped me and the people I know have really gained a lot out of them as well. So be blessed. Love you all. And if you haven't today, I would recommend giving yourself just a little bit of time to just be. Not as who you think you are, but just as you are.